Welcome to the Tool Review channel. Today we're taking a look at the Klein Tools D2000-7 high leverage diagonal cutting pliers, or their Lineman pliers. This is a 7-inch variation of their classic Lineman pliers that they make. And this is also a part of the heavy duty line. So unlike their just standard pair of Lineman pliers, these have hardened cutting edges on them. So if you needed to cut screws or nails, you will be able to achieve that with these and not have any damage done to your cutting edge. So now let's get into some of the detail of the tool. So as you can see right here, you have the Klein logo and name laser etched onto the tool, and there is a little bit of oil coming through the rivet joint. You can also see establish 1857 right there as well. You have your, I believe this G11 is a manufacturing code, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. And you have the D2000-7, your model number, and these are made in the USA, which is very nice. You know me, I like tools that are made in the USA, and these are a fantastic tool, as we will get to in a little bit. You can see you have some little warning pictures right there. Wear eye protection doesn't protect you against electrical shock. They're not insulated, so don't try to use this on live wires. And then you have the nice blue dipped handles. Now, I believe you can only get the 7-inch version of these pliers just in dipped handles. I don't believe they make it in the comfort grip handles. And then coming to the cutting edge, you can see this is a high leverage design. The rivet is close to the cutting edge, so you don't have to use as much force when you're cutting through wire. And you can see you have a fairly large cutting edge, and I have been using this pair of pliers for a little bit before doing this review. And then you can see you do have some cross hatching on the nose of the pliers, and that allows you to get better grip than just all the teeth going in one direction, which is super nice. And then you come over to this side of the pliers, and you have this circular opening that also has teeth on it, which is nice. And then you get a better look at the rivet on the back right there as well. And then you have a E1 stamped into the metal right there, or as a part of the casting right there as well. So that's about it. As you can see, this is a relatively smaller pair of Lineman pliers. Like I said, it's only 7 inches long. So these would definitely come in handy if you have to work in a tight situation. You can't necessarily get a larger pair of 9-inch Lineman pliers in there. These should be able to get the job done. So now we'll get to some of the functionality of these pliers. So we're going to test out the cutting edge on the plier. So we're going to start off with my favorite wire, the 14 gauge stranded wire. And these pliers should have no problem cutting through that. And as you can see, it has no problem whatsoever cutting through the 14 gauge stranded wire. So we'll go ahead and put that off to the side, and we'll bring in some 12 gauge stranded wire and see how well these can cut through that. Hopefully it's just as well, they do just as good as the 14 gauge wire. And as you can see, it has no problem whatsoever cutting through that 12 gauge stranded wire. No problem, and it does cut through kind of smooth, which is nice. You don't really have to push that much force on them, which is always nice. And then we'll try this 10 gauge stranded wire right here. And as you can see, cuts through that, no problem. Does a fairly decent job, and we'll set that off to the side, and we'll bring that back in a little bit. So now we have some 18 gauge, 18.5 wire, thermostat wire. We'll see how well we can cut through this. And as you can see, it has no problem whatsoever cutting through the thermostat wire. Now, the one thing about Klein pliers is their handles are designed so that they absorb that snapping action. You can kind of hear it with these when you cut through the wire. The handles are designed to absorb that, so you don't feel it as much in your hand. But as you can see, cuts through that 18.5 thermostat wire, no problem. So now we're going to bring in some 14.2 with ground Romex wire and see how well we can cut through these. And as you can see, cuts through the 14.2, no problem whatsoever. You can kind of hear a little bit of snapping, but I really don't feel it in my hands. Right there, so we'll go ahead and get that out of the picture and get that out of the pliers, and we'll bring in some 12.2 Romex and see how well we can cut through this. And as you can see, you definitely have a little bit more snapping action right there, and they are able to cut through the Romex no problem. And I would say you kind of feel a little bit of snapping action with the pliers in your hands, but it's not like some other pairs of pliers that I've used where you really do feel it. So that is nice, and as you can see, they are small and compact, and they do fit well in your hands. But now, we'll clear all this stuff out of the way here. We'll bring back in our 10 gauge stranded wire, and we'll see how sharp these jaws are, see if we can strip this wire with these pliers. So what you can do is you put it in there and twist it around a few times, cutting that outer insulation, trying not to cut the inner insulation. And I'm kind of struggling here not to shake the camera, but as you can see, you can strip a wire with these the cutters on this pair of Linemans, no problem. And as you can see, the cross hatching does bite onto that insulation fairly nice and does hold on to it fairly well. So overall, these are definitely a nice pair of pliers that Klein Tools has to offer, and it is especially, I would say these are going to come in handy if you have to work in a tight situation where you can't exactly get a large pair of 9-inch or 8-inch pair of Lineman pliers, and you just want something small and compact. These are definitely something that are going to be able to get the job done, and they perform just as well, if not better, than the standard 9-inch pair of Klein Lineman pliers. They're heavy-duty ones. They perform just as well as those. So overall, I definitely highly recommend these. If you're looking for a new pair of Lineman pliers and you maybe don't want a large pair of Lineman pliers, or you just want to have another pair of Lineman pliers that's not as large as your standard pair of Lineman pliers. So overall, definitely recommend these. That's all I really have to say for this video. I will leave a link to Klein's website in the description below if you'd like to purchase this tool. The link will take you straight to the page for this specific pair of pliers, and you can go onto there and see if there's any retailers local to you that sell these pair of pliers, or you can find Klein's online retailers that will sell these pliers. I don't believe anywhere near me sells these in store, so I did have to order mine. And they were definitely worth the wait, I would say. These are probably one of my favorite pair of pliers. Just the size and how useful they are. I really do enjoy using these pair of pliers quite a lot. And I'm not always using them for work. I just like to sometimes mess around with them here at home. But that's all I have for this video, so thank you for watching. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. And if you are new to the channel and you want to see more videos like this, please feel free to hit the subscribe button. I do try to post a new video every week. And if you did enjoy this review, please give it a thumbs up. That'll greatly help out the channel and be greatly appreciated. But that's all for this review, so stay tuned for the next video uploaded.